Hello everyone in the Family Screen Time Strategies Facebook group. I'm coming live tonight to interview the lovely Kirsten Pancras. I hope I've pronounced her surname correctly. Kirsten is a mindfulness expert and she particularly loves working with parents. We are a little bit late on the live. Sorry about that. We couldn't get Zoom to join up and go stream live into Facebook for some reason. It wasn't working, so never mind, we're here now, and in a moment Kirsten's going to join us and we'll get started with the interview. So while she's doing that, my name is Stephanie Pancras and I am one of the founders of ScreenCoach, and I have a background in psychology and I've been a life coach for many years, and I really love nothing more than helping people to reach their full potential. That's my real passion. And you know, if we can start with our kids, you know, the younger that we can start with, helping them to, you know, raising them with a strong sense of self and self-esteem and really healthy balance when it comes to screens, and you know, managing their emotions and doing the healthy stuff along with the fun stuff, you know, then we'll be setting them up for the best start in life, really. So I'm going to add Kirsten. That will work out nicely. Stand by. Yay!
Yay!
Hello, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here, and we finally have things working.
That's right. Yes, for some reason Zoom wouldn't go live in the group, so we've just gone live on our phone. So yeah, we always need to be flexible with these things. So
Yes, but
so you're a mom of 2 teens?
Yes, my daughter is 13 and my son is 15.
Mm-hmm. And
so yeah,
tell me a little bit about just a little brief introduction about your story and how you got into teaching other people about mindfulness and about staying calm as a parent.
Well, it all started with my story. About 11 years ago, I got divorced, and then I lived alone with my 2 small children. And so there were a lot of challenges. It was a challenging time, and I got overworked, and I had what is it called? I always forget, glandular fever. So I was tired from being a mom and all the things I had to do on my own, but then I got even more tired. And after that, the recovery was slowly, because it was a lot, and I got angry a lot at my kids. I was stressed all the time. I was having troubles at work because of all that. And then one day I went to my doctor for support, and he said to me, "Kirsten, we're not living in La La Land." And I went home and I was looking for support, and he told me that. So I was crying, and at home I couldn't stop crying. And then one moment I said to myself, like, you know, you can wait for the world around you to change so you can feel better, or you can start with yourself and look at things differently and do things that will help you feel better. And that's when it all started. I mean, I had been doing a little bit things like healing or Reiki before, you know, so I was a little bit into these kind of things, but that's when really I figured that I had to be more serious with it. And in the years that followed, I have discovered things that, because sometimes things seem very difficult and challenging, especially when you're not feeling well. And I found that there are things that are much easier and that don't take much time. And if you add all those little things during your days, then it's much easier to do, and it's going to help much more than doing one big thing every month or 2 months. And so somewhere in this journey, I started making meditations, and they are short, like I was listening to CDs that were like 30 minutes or 1 hour, and I thought I didn't always have the time to listen to that. And so I want to make things easy. I want to help people make things easy to learn the small things that you can do during your day to feel better. And because I think lots of moms and parents in general, but well, maybe mostly moms, but I'm not sure. The parents are often overwhelmed with all the things they have to do for the kids, and they want to take care of the kids, and they want to take care of their partner, and they want to be there for everyone. And often they don't feel very well doing that, and they forget themselves, they doubt themselves, they think they're not a good enough parent, they're not a good enough partner. And I would like to help these parents to feel better with small, simple things, because I think the world will be a much better place if we as parents, feel better, and it can be so easy.
Yeah.
So.
And I know, from my own personal journey, I've experienced a lot of fatigue, and I struggle. I love creating, and loved having my own business, and I've created all sorts of wonderful things. And to put everything, all the duties of motherhood aside, and to be really present with my kids has always been a real challenge for me. And so, that's probably one of the reasons why my kids have spent so much time on screens, is because it's just because my brain is often overwhelmed and there's just too much in it. And when kids aren't on screens, they're prone to coming and say, Mom, can you help me here? I want this, blah, 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 blah. And so it's something that I've had to continually work on myself. And, the difficult part of it is that when we're overwhelmed, often to say, okay, well, you need to do some self-care every day, feels like another thing to add to the load. And so what I really like about your approach is, how can we introduce some things during our day that aren't going to take up a lot of extra time and make us feel more overwhelmed, but we can incorporate them into our day so that we can feel calmer and not so much more in control, but just a little bit more centered and balanced, I think, is probably the best way to describe it. So I know I can't remember what we came up with. We brainstormed some 5 steps when we had a chat the other week. But do you want to talk about the first step that you recommend?
Yes. So I try to keep my tea to demonstrate it, but it's a little bit cold in the meantime because we didn't really, we had this trouble starting up. But one thing that I noticed when my kids were smaller is that I often just, I prepared tea, and I'm such a tea lover. I'm a tea nerd because tea is really my thing. And I often just drank it quickly, like I had to go somewhere, oh, there's still tea, and then quickly drink it and not really enjoy it. And it's so simple to get your tea and or your coffee. I mean, if you're a coffee lover, of course, to just hold it for a moment and maybe just, smell and look forward to drinking it, but maybe it's still too warm. And then when you drink it slowly and really enjoy the taste. I mean, you're not drinking it. If you want to drink something quickly, I mean, you can drink water, for example, and if you want to drink your warm drink, it's something that you can really take your time and enjoy. And there's one thing I always say, and this is not a good example, but if you have a cup that's, not transparent, you can say to your kids, when I'm finished with my tea, then I'll be there for you. Just wait till I finish, and then you can pretend to drink more even when it's finished. So if they don't come and check your cup, because I know there are kids who will do that, yes. But it can, and it's good to put a boundary to your kids to say, I'm just drinking this drink and then I'll be there for you. Just wait for a moment. Your kids learn, that sometimes mommy or daddy needs time for themselves. And I mean, if it's not very urgent, of course, they can wait. You don't always have to go there immediately when they ask you. And really enjoying it for a moment will give you a moment to breathe and come back to yourself.
I must say that I've done that in the past with my meals. It's one
it's one thing that I really, I mean, it's hard when the kids are very small because, you know, they often do need your attention a lot of the time. But as my kids got older, I said to them, you know, if I'm eating, then unless it's an emergency, don't come and, you know, ask me to leave to get up off the table. I mean, generally we eat together, but if it's lunch or something where we're sort of all doing our own thing, or if they're finished and they've gone, because I'm often a slow eater, so they're finished and they've gone off and I'm still eating, and they come back and say, hey, Mum, come and look at this or whatever, then that's one thing that I have done is I've always said, wait till I've finished eating, don't interrupt me, you know, and they're like, oh, okay. But yeah, I love that thing. Oh, oops. I love that thing about the tea because, you know, you can do that. That can be something, you know, 5 minutes, 3 or 4 times a day.
Yes. And it's something that most of the people do several times a day, drink coffee or tea.
Yeah.
So if you make that your small self-care moment, you don't have to do anything special. You don't have to buy something. You don't have to think about it. Just think about when you get your tea or coffee. That you take that time.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, I have to do self-care. What will I do? Oh, I will go drink tea. No, because you're probably going to drink it.
Yeah.
And if you make it a habit, it will be automatic because you will think, oh, tea, time for me.
Nice. Lovely. A lot of, you know, oftentimes when people talk about self-care, they might think about going to a day spa, going to get a massage, you know, soaking in a long bath for hours. And with young children, those things just feel like too far out of reach. So, that's cool. So what's the next one?
Well, the next one on my list is meditation. And like I said, sometimes when I was with my kids alone, I wanted to meditate, and I had these CDs and they were really long, like 30 minutes or 1 hour. And that's generally not really the time we take as a parent, because our kids need us, you know. And still, I think if I would go lie down for an hour with small kids to listen to a meditation, I think I would not be able to relax that much because I would be afraid that they would come disturb me. So I would be like with one ear almost like listening all the time, like, are they asking for me? Do they need me? And so there are a lot of meditations. I mean, I make shorter meditations, but I'm definitely not the only one. There are lots of small, shorter meditations, like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And that's already something that is so much easier because you can say, especially if they're a little bit older, of course, like, I'm going to listen to a meditation for 10 minutes. And when I'm back, I'll be all yours. And just don't disturb me, like same as we spoke about before, if it's not really urgent. Or you can listen to a meditation together because there are meditations for children. And so, I mean, it will probably depend on your child if he or she wants to join you and is like the kind of child that wants to listen to a meditation. But it's something that you could try because then you say, oh, we're going to listen to this short story together. And you pretend it's for them, but then, you know, you get your rest as well.
Yeah. So 2 places that there are many, many, many meditations are, there's an app called Insight Timer, which I'll pop in the comments later on. It's a free app and there are like hundreds of thousands of meditations on there. And there's also paid courses as well, but there are loads of free ones. And then, of course, on YouTube. So if you just go to YouTube and search for 5-minute meditation for mothers, I'm sure there'll be lots of things that'll come up. So, you know, and I also think it's a great way to teach children the value of time. So if let's just say you're going to do a 10-minute meditation, you could give them a clock and you could say, okay, it says 4:30 now. When it says 4:40, I'll be done and I'll come and you know, hang with you, do what you need to do.
Yeah. And I would like to add to that my meditations are in Insight Timer too. So
fantastic.
That's something that you can go find me there if you like. And I have 3 children meditations in there too. And there's one, and if you want, I can share the link later if that's okay.
Yeah.
There's one children meditation that was quite popular. So maybe that's if you're looking for a meditation for your kids, that's maybe a good one to start.
Definitely. We'll pop it on. I'll pop it in the description of the video when we're done.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, what's
Perfect.
the next one?
Well, the next one is something that you do all day long, and that is breathing. And often when we are stressed, we breathe more here and more quickly. And I sometimes when I at work, I feel a little rushed, and then I'm like, oh, I have to focus on my breathing. But because sometimes when you're really busy and trying to do a lot of things, I mean, for me, it's sometimes at work or also sometimes at home, of course. But it can be in any situation. If you breathe like a little bit slower and maybe place a hand on your belly to breathe a little bit deeper, and then it will automatically get a little bit slower. It will really help you very quickly to come back to yourself and feel calmer. So if, for example, with your kids, they are impatient and that's annoying you, and you want to say something, take a few deep breaths before you speak to them, and you'll feel calmer and probably won't, be it won't be the same kind of reaction to your kids. And it's something that you can do also while you're drinking your tea, but it's something if you're in line in the supermarket, if you're walking somewhere with your kid, or alone. It's something, well, under the shower. Just take a few moments during your day, or maybe just do it only once a day, to breathe deeply and slowly and really feel how it helps you come back to yourself and feel calmer.
How I like the idea of taking the time in the shower. Have you got any ideas about how we can remember to do belly breathing during the day? Because it's something that I never remember to do, pretty much, unless I'm meditating or I'm falling asleep and I bring my awareness to it. But during the day, I almost never remember to do the belly breathing.
Well, it's something that is if you're really feeling that overwhelm or stress, like when you're in a hurry and you have to wait for a long time in the supermarket, or if your kid is like exploding and you want to react in a calm way, in these moments it can bring you instant like relief to feel calmer in that moment. And otherwise, what you can do is just put a reminder on your phone. I guess that, I mean, this is something screen time thing, but I mean, as parents, we are often on our phone, right? So if you have, like, for example, like 8 o'clock in the morning, at noon, and then maybe 8 o'clock in the evening, and then just pop a reminder, breathe. And what will it take you? Like a minute?
Yeah.
Maybe not even. You can do just a few breaths. I mean, doing just 3 breaths slowly and deeply is better than doing nothing.
Yeah.
And maybe once you're in it and you're doing it more often and you feel the effect, you might want to do it longer. But just don't make the goals too big for yourself, because it will feel like a mountain you'll have to climb and you're like, no. So just, be kind to yourself and make small goals.
Yeah.
But make those goals,
And in the comments, Athena, she read my mind, because I was going to suggest to attach it to the moment, to take the few moments to drink your tea. You could also then at that same time
definitely
do the breathing. Yeah. So I thought that was a really good idea.
Yeah.
So I will just say hello to those people who are watching live. I can see Veronica and Trent, and Athena is there. I'm not sure who else I can see. There's a few people.
I'm going to see if I can have. Oh, I can see. I just can see there are 5 people. I'm just checking on my iPad, but let me see. I can't even see them. Comments.
That's right.
I just can see there are 5 people. Boop, boop, boop. Anyway.
It's all good. I've got it here. So,
but it's great that there are people watching.
After we've gone through the 5 steps to being a calmer parent, we're happy to answer questions. So if you've got any questions or anything you want to ask us, please pop them in the comments and we'll do that in a minute. So what's the fourth one?
Fourth one is listening to music. Music is something that can really help us change how we feel. You know, you sometimes have music that reminds you of something from the past, and you can really hear a song from the past and be back in that moment. So music is really powerful, and you can choose, for example, a relaxing song if you feel that you need to relax. And that's also something that you can combine with the breathing, for example. But there are also lots of songs that are uplifting. There's one song that I love, and that when I'm feeling grumpy and like complaining and so on, and I really have to go listen to that song. And sometimes I'm a bit stubborn and I don't want to listen, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to listen, and it's not going to have any effect. And it always works because it always gets me out of my bad mood. And of course, it might depend on how you feel, but music is something that really can help you let go a little bit of the thing you're worrying about in the moment, and or the stress that you're feeling. And so depending on the effect, you can choose something calming, something uplifting, and you can do it with your kids. I mean, put on a uplifting song and dance in the living room with your kids can be a nice moment to spend together. And it's something that will help you feel better. And it's fun, I think.
Yeah. I really love to sing. And so I find if I can put on some music that I can sing along to, that really helps get me out of my head and into, you know, into the song, like you were saying. Like there's, you know, when we're plagued by, you know, a lot of thoughts and we're really busy and we've got a lot going on in our minds, we can be very much in our head, and to dance and to sing and to move around to the music can bring us back into our bodies and help us to feel grounded, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's a really good way to, if your mind is full, to dance and really put your feet on the ground. Maybe, you know, how do you say that? I don't know the English word, but really put your feet on the ground. Like sometimes just not because it's a nice dance, but to help you get more out of your head, get the energy down, and to ground more. Yeah.
It is. It's just grounding.
Yeah.
And what's the last one?
Well, the last one, well, I can come up with many more, of course, but there's one thing that I noticed because I don't know if it's the same where you live, but here they often say that moms can multitask. They can do everything in the same time. Because sometimes we have to. But I always like to say that, you know, it's not completely true, because if you're doing things in the same time, you have only 100% of your attention. You can't be 100% here and 100% there. So you're dividing your attention. So if your child needs you for something, or if you're doing something else, but mainly if your kid needs you, try to be there like 100%, because otherwise you'll be splitting your attention with something else. And I know sometimes it's difficult, especially in these times where we're often on our phone or watching TV or maybe talking with someone else. But just disconnecting from the other thing you're doing for a moment and being really there with your child. For sometimes it's just a few seconds that they need you, and sometimes it's more, but they will feel more seen and heard. And you won't feel like your energy is all over the place because you're trying to do everything in the same time. You will keep your energy like well, instead of like spreading it and being everywhere at the same time, you will keep it closer to yourself. And so it will be better for you because you are feeling better in your energy, and it's better for your child because they need you. And that's something I've found, that realizing that has really helped me to, you know, be more present in the moments that they need it. And, you know, I get it, if you're cooking and they want something, you know, it's not always easy to do this in every moment, but there are lots of moments where it's possible.
I must say that I've had to continuously be really mindful and aware to put my phone down and to put it aside, you know, while I'm doing something with the kids, because it can easily be a little habit that creeps up where we'll be having a conversation and I'll just check it, and you know, a notification will go off or whatever it is. And you know, the other thing that I've found too is that it's really important to minimize all of our commitments if we can as well, because you know, over the years I've wanted to say yes to doing things for other people, you know, favors or whatever, and it's actually my family that misses out when I go outside of my family and do things for other people. So I've actually, even though it's been a difficult time that because I'm in Melbourne, that we've been in lockdown now. We had a 4-week period where we were allowed to go do anything since April, I think it is. So it's been nearly 6 months that we've been needed to stay home. And even though it's been really difficult not to see family, and we've had my husband's 50th, and we had my nephew's 21st in that time, and we couldn't celebrate. It's actually been a real blessing for me to not have to go out and to not have to commit to doing things, to not have to go to the shops, and to just, you know, hang at home and just do some things with the kids. And it's been a really interesting experience.
Yes, it's especially times like these.
Now bring everything in. You know, I think that we just overcommit in general. We overcommit with work, we overcommit with our kids, we overcommit with ourselves. And so, you know, given that we don't have a village of people, most parents don't have a whole lot of other community members to help take care of their kids. It's just generally 1 or 2 parents with however many kids. You know, it's difficult, and the kids can't play with each other very much as well, compared to, you know, in a tribal setting, which is, to me, where we're genetically wired, is to be in a tribal setting where all the kids look after each other and spend a lot of time together. And now it's mostly up to the parents to entertain the kids, and that can be really difficult.
Yes, and one thing that I found that really helped when you want to commit to something, like someone asks you something and you would normally just say yes because you want to help, you can say that, let me think about it, I will come back to you. And then, you know, when you're like at home or anyway, if you're not with that person who asked you for help, you can think about it from a more neutral place and then think, is this something that I really can do? Because maybe you really want to help. But sometimes, like you said, when we're overcommitting, then we pay the price most of the time in our energy and maybe also in our family dynamics. Because if we overcommit as parents and we're tired and we're frustrated, then the kids will feel that. They will pick up on our energy and they will, you know, feel maybe also a frustration or tired or anyway. But it's, even if they don't feel it from you, it's better for them if you're feeling calmer and happier. And just one thing I want to add, because I'm like, you know, I said that sometimes we feel frustrated and overwhelmed, and it's like not good for our kids, but it's not like a judgment. I just want to, you know, you're not a bad parent because it happens to everyone. And I noticed that the other day I shared something on Facebook about how when my kids were smaller, I was angry all the time, like really angry a lot. And then I had reactions from people who said, oh, thank you for saying that. I have that too, because we don't always talk about it.
It's true.
And not a lot of people share about things like that, but we all do it. And in one way or another. And I do it less now that I feel more calmer and more sure about myself, and I doubt less about if I'm a good mom or not. But I do sometimes think, oh, I'm not a good enough mom because I checked my phone while my son was talking about school. I mean, I still do these things, and many people do. I think everyone does. And we all sometimes feel tired and overwhelmed. And the thing is just that to choose to try and change that little by little. And even if you don't see a difference from today to tomorrow or to next week, a small step forward is still a small step forward, and a small change is still a small change. And it's just like you don't see from today to tomorrow how much your kid has grown, but someone who hasn't seen him in a few months will say, whoa, he's tall now. And that's the same with trying to change things like self-care and feeling better. There are small changes that you won't notice right away, but after a while you look back and you'll say, oh yeah, I'm feeling calmer now, for example.
Yeah. And when we're feeling calmer, we're feeling less overwhelmed. For me, I'm much more in a position to be able to create healthy boundaries around screens.
Yes.
And I've got that little bit more strength, to insist that everyone comes and eats dinner together, rather than, just letting the kids come whenever they're finished, whenever they feel like it, or whenever they get hungry enough, or whenever they've finished their game, or whatever it might be. We always give our kids a warning so that they can finish up what they're doing, because I don't think it's fair to insist that they just get off immediately. But there's I think as parents you always do need that extra little bit of energy, that extra little bit of strength to just say, no, you need to hop off and you need to do that. And I think the other thing too is that when, as parents, if we're less angry and we're less uptight, then we're more pleasant to be around. So the kids actually want to be around us as well as much as we want to be around them. And you can have nice, make those nice memories together sometimes.
Absolutely.
So I can't see that anyone's got any questions here. So just to summarize, 5 steps to self-care, and it's all around incorporating, these little things that we can do within our day, is to really enjoy and take the few moments 3 or 4 times a day to really enjoy our hot drink, to do a 5 or 10 minute meditation every day, to watch our breathing. So make sure that every now and then you check in with your breath, and you can do that while you're drinking your tea. With the music, to enjoy some music, put on some music really helps to lift our mood and to calm us down if we need. And what was the 5th one? I can't remember the 5th one.
To don't divide your attention to everything at the same time. Yeah. To try to get the 100% for your child.
Yes, but
when they need you.
Yeah, but I think even away from our kids, I think that when we do focus and do one thing at a time, we do it more quickly, we do it more properly.
We'll probably do it better.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing that I want to add too is to try and get enough sleep, because
definitely,
I think most adults are sleep deprived.
Yes. I remember when I was alone with my kids, I used to watch a lot of series on DVD, because you didn't have Netflix that time, but I could binge watch, and I would really go to bed late, and I was already exhausted, so that really didn't help. And especially since I met my current boyfriend, he's someone who goes to bed quite early. I learned to go to bed early, and that makes a huge difference. So that's really a great tip from you to do that. And I just would like to add that don't try to do everything every day, and don't start now and say I have to take time to drink my tea and do meditation and watch my breathing and because you'll start by feeling overwhelmed. Like, you can set a goal that say, like, I want to go to bed earlier twice this week, and I'm going to try to enjoy my tea every time that I drink it, and then you just see how it goes. And when you notice that it goes well, then you can say, like, oh, I would like to add the music thing, or I would like to add meditation, or you can pick whatever you like. And if you want to try it all in the same time, go for it. If that feels good for you, do it. But don't, like I said earlier, don't make the goal too big that it feels like something you have to do every day. Because
pick one of the things that we've suggested and just start with that. Yeah, because even one of those 5 things will make a big difference.
Yes.
Now we have a question about not reacting to when your child has a really bad attitude towards you. Have you got any tips about how we can not react and get angry or get annoyed when they're not treating you as a parent very well?
Well, one thing that I would like to mention is the breathing thing, that, before exploding because of their uh, attitude against you, just try to just breathe for a moment instead of just exploding like right away, because sometimes my son sometimes, especially, he's 15, and sometimes he can have a real attitude, and it's maybe not the same as when they're small, but it's still something that I'm like, whoa. So try to take a moment for yourself before reacting. And I also think that, and that's maybe not the answer you're looking for, but if you start doing the small self-care things little by little, adding them more regularly, you'll start to feel calmer, and then it will feel easier for you to react in a calmer way when they're having a bad attitude against you. So, but you said something, because I can't see the comments. So you said that she asked about you said not reacting, or what?
Not reacting.
So you want to like ignore it, right? Is that what you mean?
Well, not get upset.
Yeah.
It's not so much.
Okay, yeah.
It's not so much not ignoring it, but it's about not getting upset. And another lady
Yeah.
said she gets very overwhelmed. She's got 3 boys, and when they're all talking at once and they're being noisy, she gets really overwhelmed. She can often snap at them because they're just like, ah. So again,
Yeah,
I think it's the same answer. I think it's just taking a deep breath, and to actually pause before even saying anything, and then to just say one at a time, or and I think I agree with you that when we've got these little rituals in place, we have more capacity to cope when our kids are overwhelming us.
Definitely. And also sometimes you just want to escape, and then you go to the toilet, and then you are alone to breathe.
Just have time.
Because when you're really feeling like this, and I mean, I have 2 kids, but I really know that feeling when they are doing the dishes. I just sometimes go to my bedroom because they drive me crazy. Sometimes you just want to escape, and of course it depends on the situation if you can. But if you have 3 kids and they are all wanting your attention, then you might want to say, I don't know if that will work, but you can say, this pen is a talking stick, and the one who gets the stick can talk, and I will listen to each of you, but not in the same time.
Yeah.
So you give one of them the talking stick, and they say, you can talk. And then like one by one. But also if they're, for example, if they're arguing, the 3 of them together, then you just, sometimes you just have to leave them and just go outside or to the toilet and be away from that energy, because that's also what's probably upsetting you, and not only their attitude.
Or send them all outside.
Well, it depends on the situation, of course, but sometimes it's,
yeah, that's right.
Sometimes you just have to step away for a moment to get back to yourself,
yes.
and then you'll be able to react in such a different way. And still, if you snap at them, it happens.
Yeah,
it's not.
Right.
You're not a bad parent.
No, that's exactly right. And I think there's been times where I've completely lost it at my kids, and I tell people the most important thing is that you go to them later, and that you explain to them what happened, and that you lost it, and that you make it up, and that you apologize if you did anything that you said anything that you shouldn't have said or whatever. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I do that too. And since they're small, when I had something like that, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm so tired, and I get angry easier, and it's not your fault. Or sometimes I talk about, do you understand why I got angry? Because sometimes they really do things that make you angry, and it's also okay for them to understand that you were angry about that.
Yes.
And what I also always say, and I still do that, and even though by now they must know it, I love you, even if you're doing things like that, even if I get angry.
Yes.
I love you. I always love you.
Yes.
It doesn't change.
Yeah.
I'm just angry because you did something, but you as a person, I love you, you know? So I think it's very important for them to know that you being angry doesn't mean you don't love them anymore. And maybe they know, but I like to tell them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right, well, we might finish it up there. Is there any final comments that you wanted to make before we say goodnight?
For me, something I want to say, you mean?
Yeah, is there anything final that you wanted to say?
Well, just that don't make the goal too big and don't judge yourself if you don't do what you intended to do. If you think like, okay, I'm going to step away, and then you come back and you still snap at them, okay, try again next time. You know, every moment is a new moment to make a change, and we're all human. So be kind to yourself.
And if you're really having a tough time and your kids need to spend the whole day on their iPad, on your iPad or on their iPads because you need a day to yourself to just lie in bed and watch TV yourself all day or whatever, then that's okay too.
Yeah. Yes, you have permission to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. No.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on and being our guest. And I'm going to pop the link. Kirsten runs her own Facebook group, and she has a website, and I'll pop the links to that information in the comments when we finish up.
Yes, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. And if you write something here below, if you can, I don't know if you can, but if you can, tag me so I will more easily get a notification, and just ask away.
Thank you.
And thank you, Stephanie. I really appreciate it, and I really love being here talking about this. So thank you.
Good night.
And thank you for everyone who's watching.
See you. Bye.
Bye.